Hello, friends, and welcome to a brand new episode of Discourse in Magic. My name is Jonah Babbins, and this is another Toronto Magic Company episode.
Yay!
So that means that, unfortunately, Ben is here. No, I'm just kidding. Ben's here to record with us, talk about what's going on with the Toronto Magic Company, and also, and this is kind of new, but this is coming out as a video podcast. Not the full thing, but a clip comes out on the Toronto Magic Company YouTube page, which Ben and I are kind of making lots of content for, actually.
So interesting that you decide to start sharing more video content right after you go out and get yourself a professionally done haircut and before I could get one.
Before you could get one. Things have been open for a little while. You've chosen to stay home. Okay, well, as usual, I kind of pulled a couple of questions together just to chat about. Ben did nothing as usual, but maybe some questions will come to mind for you, or maybe not. Maybe you'll just sit there.
Blank and empty up here.
That makes sense. Okay.
Look into these eyes, devoid of any thought, people.
So the first question that I put down here is related to a kind of funny glance we had down at our calendars. 3 days ago, maybe 4 days ago, I had my second COVID shot, and it was a tough day because we had 3 back-to-back virtual shows that day. So it was like, oh man, and we still had kind of regular, maybe we had 2 or 3 other virtual shows that week. And then this week I looked at the calendar and I said, Ben, we don't have another virtual show for the next 2 weeks. We basically have 2 straight weeks without a virtual show, which is, I guess, a pretty good signal. If there are signals, a pretty good sign that the excitement of virtual magic is dying down. Again, we don't know if it's going to disappear, if it's going to die down a little bit. We don't know, but I think Ben and I shed a little bit of a tear that maybe virtual is not going to be what we hoped it might.
I know you do as well, love doing virtual programming. So there is a possibility that part of the decline is because it's the summer and people don't want to go be indoors. They want to go outside. It's easier to do things outside once you've had a vaccine shot and when it's warm. When it's cold and people are working remotely and the weather's crappy, maybe they
I don't think it's going to vanish entirely, but I think pretty clear
down.
Especially because we've seen what's happened with our friends in the States, right, who are a couple of months ahead of us, and none of them have full virtual calendars, so if we are where they are but a couple months later, the signs are looking like we're going to be back doing things in person soon, which is fun and exciting because someone posted somewhere I didn't get into magic to do virtual tricks, which is true, we do want to produce shows. We want to, go back and share magic, but also on the other hand, virtual is really fun. And, our studio's getting cooler and cooler, and better and better.
Yeah. And there's a lot of things that I love about doing a virtual. We get to perform out of our ideal performing venue, right? For our show. It's like having, building a theater designed for a specific type of show. And we know that everybody can see. There's no visibility issues. We know that everybody can hear us.
Any thoughts about
participate?
About the return back? Now that we see
the writing's on the wall. I think there will, like you said, there will still be virtual shows. We don't know what number. We're going back to in person. I think we can all say up until a year and a half ago, the vast majority of magicians and performing magicians did not think that they were going to be making a living doing it virtually. So I certainly didn't. So I'm not devastated to find out that I'm going back. I'm excited. I am nervous.
It kind of sounds like everybody else who is not magicians talking about going back to the office, right?
Yeah.
You have to do it. There's fun parts about it, but also we just got used to this.
This year for us was really fun. We got to do fun projects. I got into magic because it let me do basically arts and crafts for a living. That's how I feel. I get to hang out with people, have fun. It's just great. So this year has felt like a lot of that. Going back to doing my show where it's more about doing just the reps of doing over and over and over the same show. And obviously I can continue trying to bring the same sort of creative
and
vibe.
New material and stuff like that.
Yeah, and we're working towards that. It just sometimes easy to fall into the trap.
Not as fun as putting on a virtual magic convention.
It's also, you spend so much of your
like,
time and energy driving to events and waiting to get in between green rooms and stuff like that. So, but I'm excited. I am excited. The writing's on the wall, and I think that we're going to start moving towards that, which we're already doing.
Yeah, and that being said, before we'll talk about live in a second, but I was also saying, like, you know, we're investing in the studio, and like we still are. We're still just getting stuff to help for our studio space, even though we're having less virtual shows. But one kind of cool thing I wanted to share in the last week is we set up a teleprompter.
That's what we're looking at right now.
That's what we're looking at right now. And my goodness, I cannot believe we went the whole entire pandemic looking around the camera, missing it completely.
Yeah, this is what it used to look like when I was trying to talk to someone.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, hey, Frank.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Hi, Bill. This is how we did all of our shows.
See
Hi,
look at this nice guy. Hey,
Hi,
we're
Mr.
talking
Bill.
right to you. I want to talk right to you. No. Now we talk to you. Now we get to see you, sort of. No, we do. We do. Actually, I said sort of, but that's the whole point of the teleprompter is we can see you right here in front of us, or we can see ourselves.
Right now ourselves, but
I love this.
When we do Zoom shows, it's you. And we actually just recorded the trailer for our next unconventional.fun event. And in that trailer, we, for the very first time, like when we had written scripts before, we just had to say it and say it again and say it again and say it again. We would do like 50 takes, and the last take worked. On this one, I wrote the script on the teleprompter. I could read the script as it was going by, and it took us our second, our third take, and then all of a sudden it was perfect, and we got a good shot of it. So I'm a big fan of the teleprompter. If you are thinking about it, or if you are on the fence.
Yeah, now that virtual is over, it's time to get it.
So on one hand, we just bought a teleprompter, but on the other hand, we were working on this trick for a long time. We've done it at some conventions and some lectures. That one right over there.
Oh, yeah.
And we have been kind of working on, but also kind of putting off shooting this trick, because it's a trick where for a virtual show, we cut to a video and then we cut back. And we've been putting it off, and it was finally in our schedule this week to record it. And I looked at Ben and I said, hey, we don't have another virtual show for the next couple of weeks. Maybe we should use our creative energy to not add, spend the day adding a trick to our virtual show that doesn't really matter right now. Maybe we should spend
let's not rearrange the deck chairs on the Titanic.
Yeah, exactly.
Focus on the in-person shows, as I think, and also some of the other cool programming we're doing. I mean, virtual shows may be going away, but one of the things that we've done is over the past year and a half is use this time to build relationships with people and communities all over that we connect with the virtual. So we have lots of cool activities. We have lots of cool projects coming up. And so although the shows are slowing down, which for me is totally fine because it's the summer and I like to take a break during the summer, we still have lots to focus on, like cool things like, we can't tell you yet.
Ben likes to have his summers off.
Yeah, like a normal human being. Raise your hand, post in the comments.
It's an audio podcast.
Tug on your ear if you like working throughout the summer. Tell me, send us a message if on the summer you like being trapped inside.
Yeah, but like I can also say like who likes to work all the time? Like that's also a silly question.
I like to work sometimes. Yeah. I just don't like to work in the summer.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. Some people work in the summer, some people don't. Anyways, I don't even know what to say. You work in the summer. What are you talking about? Okay, so go outside. Well, the next thing I wanted to talk about is our first live show back. So last week, you and I went camping, which got rained out, but we'll talk about that in a sec. But also, we did a bachelorette party. We did a magic show at a bachelorette party. It was
so nice to get back to in-person shows and look out into that audience of disappointed women faces.
So I was gonna say, tell me about it. What did you feel about the whole entire experience? Did you like it? Did you hate it? It's been a year and a half.
It's been a very long time since, at least a year and a half since I've traveled. What did we drive? 3 hours? Yep. We, by car, drove 3 hours.
Well, the way we drove, it was like 2 and a bit because we really pushed it.
We pushed. But no, we drove safely and within the limit. Don't worry, Mom. And and insurance people, don't worry. We traveled 3 hours. And normally for me, that's the time when I get most anxious. Like on my way metaphorically to battle, you know, and I'm trying to have a good time with people, but I also, there's a lot of pressure on me to deliver, you know, that's how it feels. And
There's
so
9 women up at a cottage waiting for us to be the entertainment.
Yeah.
So like, there's at least a little bit of pressure.
and you don't know what you're walking into. Like, picture to yourself right now. If I say there's, I think it was actually a little,
12. I don't know.
I think maybe 10 women or something. It was whatever the guidelines said. They had kept it just to that. And it was 10 women up at a cottage for a bachelorette party. So you take a moment, think to yourself, what does that mean? And I'll bet a lot of people are thinking of very different things right now. You know, so it's sort of like you're going up to this thing and you spend 3 hours going like, are they going to be super drunk and loud and obnoxious? Are they going to be having fun and cheerful? Are they like, you know, you don't know what you're going into. So normally this is when I get anxious. Instead, we spent 3 hours talking and rehearsing and going through our stuff.
And rushing, you know.
And
part
rushing,
of it was just, we were like, just trying to get there on time.
But I found myself not getting anxious. And I enjoyed the trip up because I like doing stuff with this guy, even though we pretend we don't.
It was also like, in terms of first events back, as low pressure as a possibility.
Yeah, they had seen us before. They I don't want to, you know, they liked us enough that they brought us in for this event.
They brought us to come entertain at a bachelor party. Like, they're going to enjoy themselves. They're going to have fun.
And they did.
You know, like, yeah, and they did. But yeah,
and they gave us a piece of cake afterwards, and Jonah couldn't eat it, but I could, and I did, and it was delicious.
So yeah, any other feelings, good or bad?
I enjoyed it. I mean, it was weird, but in a good way. Like, you know, like I felt anxious. I felt excited. There were things that I felt like I did a really good job on. There were things that I was like, oh, I missed that. Like, should have done that a little better.
There's a couple of funny times where like, I felt both of us, like we were a little bit looser on our scripts because we didn't really remember. And both of us were like, talking, going through the actions, we would both remember a sentence or two from the script, you know, and say it and then be like, oh, I don't know what, okay, that's good. You know, I'll keep, and then I forget, I'll just wing it until I get back to, you know, where I know where I am.
The biggest difference, or like the biggest sort of struggle I felt coming back was when you're performing, and Tamariz, who you like very much, talks about it, you're trying to like connect with the audience. You're trying to imagine like a rope going from your eyes to theirs. Yeah. And when I'm talking right now, the reason we love this teleprompter is I'm looking into the camera, but I can also look right into people's faces.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm looking and talking right to them. And in-person shows require you to like talk to this person, but then turn and talk to this person without severing that relationship. And so like learning how to talk and open your body and do things, and being stuck behind a camera for a year and a half and not talking to people, I sort of like felt myself talk to this person and turn away and not fully connecting.
Lose that tie, you know, so, like the one that got me,
even with 10 people. So imagine 50 or 100 or 200.
The one that got me that was really, really tough was, and I know this may sound almost ridiculous, but virtual taught me to talk to people and ask for their feedback, you know, like, by the way, if you can hear me like this. So I think as soon as I went on the audience, I like showed them some cards. I was like, by the way, like, are they shuffled? If they look shuffled, like, everybody give me thumbs up like this. And I don't remember exactly what I used to do. It'll come to me as soon as but I would show them that the cards are all different, but it wasn't that. That was like a line from virtual, and I saw people just like weirdly giving me thumbs up. I was like, yeah, I guess that is weird, like for a group of people to give me thumbs up.
Children, maybe not. Adults at a bachelorette party, maybe.
Totally. So that was kind of a funny one, but the magic worked. The minds were read. They had a great time. I ate a balloon. It was wild. Yeah. It was great.
But we also learned to use, like, you know, asking for certain audience engagement and trying to use that more. Like, we did a little bit something silly in the middle where I got the women to like clap in order to encourage Jonah to do something. I won't tell you what it is. Use your imaginations.
I just told them. Anything else to share about that gig?
It was super fun. It was, you had some revelations about material and stuff that you wanted to do. So did I. And like, we spent the last year and a half working on magic and finding ways to challenge ourselves to work on magic. Whether it was with the Tarbell Challenge or putting up new content or putting on new virtual shows or XYZ. So I think now we're coming back to in person, and both you and I have talked about for years material that we want to add to our shows and things that we want to change. And just like we learned from investing in this teleprompter, like, you know, it's time to invest in a little bit more into our product and what we're doing. And
it is crazy that in the last 2 years, and the number is not that high, but literally in the last 2 years, I've spent more on my virtual than I have on my actual show. Like my in-person show is like deck of cards, some balloons and stuff, and even I spent a couple $100 on
on a table,
or even like a machine or something. Like literally, I've spent more on virtual, and not even the dang tricks, like just on making it look good, which is interesting to consider. And like we would go on stages and get off, and one of the things we're really good at is riling up an audience and having fun and all that. And because of that, I think we've slacked at filling the stage, and adding music and adding, all these different things that make for...
we compensate sometimes with our bravado.
Yeah. So...
we don't want to slack, we want to slap.
There you go. You could put that on a tattoo.
I have one. I just got a new tattoo. It's a stealth fighter.
Huh?
It's a stealth fighter. They're invisible.
Nice. That's good. You're on fire today. Do you have any questions? Anything that you're thinking about?
I have some questions, but I don't know if I should be asking them on the podcast. They're like questions about the future of doing your in-table shows.
Yeah, ask me.
Oh, I just want to know, like, what, we're talking about moving forward with in-person shows. And one of the things we're talking about is, what kind of shows do we want to go back to doing? Like there's shows that neither of us like to do. There's shows that we both like doing. Mm-hmm. Like the in-person... any of the big shows we produce, we want to host them, right? It's fun for us to do them. It's fun for us to be on those lineups. Neither of us wants to do certain like school shows anymore. Some we do, but some we maybe don't, And so I know there's certain shows you talked about not wanting to do, but one show you've talked about wanting to do a lot and that you're very good at is like your table show. So like moving forward in the new year, is that, or have you thought about like how do you want to do it, or how do you want to market? Do you have a goal for like how often?
To be honest, I haven't thought too much about how I want to market it, because there's enough other things that I want to sell that selling my table show, honestly, I thought about it a lot right before the pandemic.
Yeah, that's why I was
working on both ticket wise.
Just so they know at home, I hope I'm not giving away too much info. No. But, we were looking for something that was a more intimate experience with a higher ticket price and was maybe in a certain like nicer location. So one of the things that we like about the company, and you've talked about, is we can run ads against multiple different things. So there's different experiences and products and ways that people can engage.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to have like a free open mic, a middle price show, and then this would be like 100 or 200 or whatever it is price ticket. And it would be a really intimate experience with lots of stuff. So moving forward in the new year, like I can see, you talked about, maybe doing it once a month, or
yeah, I think first of all, like the quantity of it, I'm not going to worry about it so much. That is the type of magic I like to do most. As in, when I'm doing mingling magic at a venue, it's nice, but I'm not valued. And I guess what I mean by that is, because it's just one person hopping around doing some magic, like as long as the magician's great, like I almost don't feel like it needs to be me. That's like
it isn't. It's like you are magician 1, 2,
yeah.
And
like
3,
if someone told me they had 1,000 people, then I would say, okay, great, you need 4 of us, and I would pick 4 of my closest friends who can also do great close-up magic and do it. Not to say that people are interchangeable, but only to say that like the job is to walk around and do a couple minutes of interactive
and again, just to clarify, not to say that this is necessarily the truth. It's the way that we feel about doing these particular, like some people I know absolutely love doing those type of strolling gigs, and the same way like there are some people who may despise the idea of doing a sit-down table show like you're doing.
100%. But just for example, like for something like that, I feel like a lot of the times it's interchangeable, where somebody else may be able to do just as good of a job at reaching those people. For a stage show, I don't like the feeling. I just don't love jumping on a stage in front of lots of people doing it. I don't mind it. It's fun. I like riling people up. It's great. But I don't love it. And the table show, I really, really do like. I'm not sure what it is about a part of the way I can kind of move people in a close proximity is very cool and fun. It's like close-up magic, but for more than 4 people at a time. And I can have a show to it. So I love that table show. I will perform it in any opportunity I can. If that ends up being the high-end experience that we are going to put on, that's great. I'm happy to do that. If it ends up being something that 1 to 2 dozen people book me to do every year, which usually tends to be the case, I'm totally fine with that. And maybe, that experience is multiple things and that's one of them. Mm-hmm. Or maybe it's none of them, and it's not, I guess I'm not trying to figure out a way to go and do that show. I'm mostly thinking about how to grow the business, how to move forward when in the new climate, how magic moves forward in the new climate, and how we can move forward in the new climate. Basically running a company that now, because of Unconventional.fun and Toronto Magic Company, does all things magic. Right. So as the economy does different things, the world does different things, and people spend time online and offline, like
we're diversifying our magic stock.
And just that is a more interesting problem to me. The problem of like the best ways that magicians can solve problems in the future, or in the present rather, is a more interesting problem to me than where can I go out and do this show? You know, if the time comes to do that show, I'm thrilled to do it. I think the show right now is good, not great. As in, if somebody said you have to do it tomorrow, I would be thrilled. If we were paying a high ticket price, I would bring in some consultants and I would spend an extra, 2 or 3 weeks trying to just sharpen it and add maybe a couple more really fierce pieces of magic. But it's just a show that I feel comfortable in my back pocket. And certainly if you said to me, right now, you could go hop on a stage in front of 1,000 people, go do a table show in front of 30 or 40 or 50, or go mingle around an event for 2 hours. Like, only one of those things makes me like really excited, like just
totally fair.
So we'll try to sell it if people want it, and if they don't, Hakuna Matata.
Good answer.
What it is.
I like it. That's pretty much all the questions that I got for you today.
Well, there are 2 other things here to chat about.
Let's hear it.
So one is about consulting. Over the past couple months, we've consulted on a bunch of different projects, from TV shows to VR to people's movies, people's tricks. Anything else? Any other things that we were consulted on?
Music videos.
Oh, music video.
I helped design something for a wedding proposal.
Oh yeah, wedding proposal. Also a virtual wedding.
Yeah, we helped put together a virtual wedding. And then we've helped with some virtual conventions and stuff like that.
So, but basically, like, we have in the last couple of years, I think a little bit more than some of the years previous, had to put our minds towards solving other people's, complex magic problems. It could be something from fun to marketing to do this, to do that. So it's just been really interesting. And moving forward, as we were talking about the role of magicians, like, a magician who can make a cool magical marketing video may be very valuable. I don't know. What's your thoughts about kind of consulting moving forward? Do you like it? Something you want to do more of?
I love it. I mean, I've always been a fan of working together with people to produce cool projects, and usually working together with people I found I can produce things that are things I couldn't have produced alone.
Right.
So working on a movie or a television show, in some cases, it's something that I'm a fan of, or something that I think is a cool project. And it's just like, well, this is awesome. I also love sharing magic, and I like finding ways to do it. And I am someone who likes problem solving, and I like being, challenged with new situations. I enjoy some of the consulting work that we're getting, and it's really broadening sort of the horizon in terms of the way I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And this past year and a half, which has thought about the way that we're framing things and the way that we're engaging and presenting and working, it's been a real amazing experience. I want to keep doing it and looking for more ways to use magic to share cool projects and messages.
Agree. I think we have like a really unique set of skills, not just magic, but producing shows and running conventions, and there's magic interlaced in the whole entire thing, and there's lessons in magic that apply. So I agree with you. I think it's fun to help solve other people's problems.
It's also something I've spent a long time inadvertently training for, in the sense of like, I spent 25 years studying magic, and I really care about the history, and I love reading whatever I can get my hands on and watching whatever videos. And then I also spent years practicing, and then I spent years performing and learning how to do it. And then I also spent years learning how to teach by doing lecturing and other stuff the same way you did. So it's not just like someone who knows a few magic tricks. It's someone who knows how to teach. And I'm not saying I'm necessarily great at all these things, but
the combination of all those skills is very valuable, right? Like, there's a lot of people who are really knowledgeable but cannot educate, right?
And now that I feel a little more comfortable going on into these situations, I get to walk in and they feel like, here's the problem. Can you solve it? And I'm like, guys, yes, I can. Don't worry. And it's cool. I present them with a solution to what they're looking for, and they're like, well, that's perfect. And you're like, yes, I solved it. Like, it's exciting. I don't know. It's cool to do.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think we're pumped. We're going to be doing a little bit more consulting, it looks like, in the next couple of years. And I say that, even though
I'm
I
gonna
have
be
no
on
idea
set
what projects.
in
Oh yeah,
6 days, 7 days.
6 days. That's right. Consulting on some TV shows.
Yeah, but which we can't say what it is yet.
exciting.
But it's a big one and it's a cool one. And if you like our content, there's a good chance you'll like what this show is.
Pretty cool. Last question is kind of strange. Not really a question, but just something that you and I have spoken about, and I thought I would pose.
Is it about my webbed feet?
Nope. It is that we are like trying to make more and more content on YouTube, and we made vlogs early on in the pandemic. They were fun to make, easy to make, made me feel really cool, as in like. It was like,
and
hey, this is my cool life.
Everybody loved them.
No,
huge response.
But nobody really liked them. Nobody really cares to watch the random, boring array of things.
People don't want to watch our lives, our mundane
Jonah
everyday
and Ben
lives.
do. I mean, they're cool lives. They're not that cool. So that was kind of the first thought. So we started doing YouTube videos that were about things, and then now that we're doing those, they are really, really, really way harder to do. First of all, because they're longer, they take multiple days, they take writing, they take script them, so they take a way more to do. And
I didn't get into this business to have to work.
People, no, but we want to be able to put out a lot of content, and if it's really hard, then it's not so helpful.
So we mix it. We have a mix of. I like sharing the vlogs because I think the vlogs are fun.
Well, so that was the question. The question is, one of them people watch a little more of. But they're harder to do. The other one people watch a little less of, but they're fun and easy to do. So what do we do going forward? Do we keep doing vlogs? Do we do...
I think we do both. We keep sharing both and we see who we track. Like I heard from people who contacted me and said they prefer the vlog style, like that they prefer...
Well, they're wrong. So, no, I'm kidding.
I mean, the metrics are there, like, but it doesn't surprise me that our fan base, which is a lot of magicians and other stuff.
Magic lovers,
they want more magic tricks and other stuff, and they don't need to see. I think that the people who are interested will watch, and if we just keep producing the content, the people who are interested in that will. The numbers will grow. And I think as we learn how to produce better videos and as, we're telling a story. I think that, let's say if we do the vlog for a year or 2 or 3 years, someone could technically watch through the vlog and you see how a magic company, like let's say this became a multi-million-dollar magic company. I'm not saying it ever would, but let's say it did.
You're saying it's not?
Let's just say it did. Okay, now we have a video vlog telling how it happened. Let's say it burns out epically and both of us not just end up dead, but end up dead in a horrific fashion.
What?
You guys can follow the entire adventures from beginning to end. How we descended into madness and then ended up eating each other.
So you think we should vlog?
I think we should vlog. I think it's going to either end great or it's just like I told my parents. If I ever do something stupid and I end up getting really hurt, first step is...
Film it.
Yeah, because it makes for content.
You got to make sure...
so I say we do it. And I think we also reveal interesting stuff that's behind the scenes, whether or not that's with our pre-structured stuff or whether we're revealing it with our personalities and, making stuff up. So I say let's vlog. Let's do it.
I love it.
And if you agree, post in nowhere because it's an audio podcast.
Well, you can
tug your ears again.
Post on Instagram, you post on Facebook.
Oh yeah, okay.
Facebook
I don't know how
anywhere.
this
You know how
That's why
works.
he runs the tech. I'm tugging my ears over.
You're just walking around our house tugging your ears.
Imagine if I was giving a lecture on engagement. You're doing a podcast. You want to engage with the viewers. Listeners.
I love that you become New York.
You gotta tug your tongues.
New York when you talk about stuff.
I'm walking here.
Well, that's it. I wanted to share a little behind the scenes of what we're thinking about, which is things are coming back. We are getting our website up and running. We're getting our videos up and running.
I'm putting that on right now on the record. I want our website to be dope by
soonish. Our website will be dope by soonish. Absolutely.
See, you want can smart goals. Me. Smart goals. Measurable, sporadic.
Measurable,
asinine,
random.
Smart.
And tonight, do it
so
tonight.
Listen, we're gonna do this thing. It's gonna be done at some time, and if it's not, you owe this. No, we'll have a good website within the next few months.
Right now, we have an okay website. Soon we'll have a good website because now we have more services, more things to share. Okay,
and more content that we can share because we've done more cool things over the past 2 years.
Well, hope you join us on the journey. We'll see you later. Thanks for being here. Bye, guys.
Sleep over at our house.
Ew.